there, Ultizeta here, and welcome back to more Let's Play Super Mario Galaxy! In the last episode, we cleared out the Dusty Dune Galaxy, and in this episode, let's go to Honeyclimb first, because that'll be quick and easy, and it's probably the least appealing option of my options. So, yeah. Scaling the sticky wall. What makes it so sticky? Well, because it's made of honeycombs, and that's why. Anyways, welcome to Mario Galaxy. This is the first episode of Mario Galaxy that I've recorded in a while. The first 11 episodes were all kind of recorded, like, a while ago. It's noteworthy that now this is the first episode since I recorded since E3 2017, which now... Remember how I was talking about Mario Odyssey earlier in the Let's Play and being like, this game looks freaking amazing? Well, now it looks even more amazing because it's freaking... Oh my god. I don't think anybody was prepared for what we got to see in E3 2017 for Mario Odyssey. That capture mechanic... Can I just talk about that capture mechanic for a second? Like... In case you don't know, in case you've been living under a rock and didn't hear about any of the gaming news related to Mario Odyssey, the first trailer had Mario throwing his cap around with eyes, because his cap has eyes. So the first trailer, way back during the original Switch presentation discussion in January-ish, had Mario throwing his cap every so often to, like, do stuff. And that was pretty cool, and it was like, it looked like a cool, fun little movement option, because you could throw it around, and bounce on it, and it looked cool, basically. But now, thanks to E3 2017, we now know what the hat really is for, because they hid its secrets in that first trailer. The hat can be used to capture people. It's basically a Pokeball, except it puts Mario in the body of someone else. Whatever he hits with it. Enemies, friendly people, innocent human bystanders. Like, it's quite amusing, really. I love that little first scene where he puts his hat on a frog, and the frog's like, oh my god, I'm Mario now. And it looks wonderful, it's amazing, but to me it really captures an interesting aspect of... related to this game, honestly, actually, Mario Galaxy. Cause... Are Mario's feet missing? Why are the bottoms of Mario's shoes missing? Weird, Mario didn't have the bottom of his shoes. Oh well. Anyways, so, when it comes to Mario Galaxy, of course I played this game before. Like, I think with the rate that I've been playing, even if I didn't tell you that I played this game before, you'd be able to frickin' tell I know what I'm doing. I played this game a heck of a lot. It was one of my favorite games as a kid, because it's just frickin' Mario Galaxy. It's a great game. So, in that regard, it was one of the games that I had spent a lot of time. And when I get an obsession with something, I get obsessed with it for a brief period of time. This happens to me with basically everything. Even nowadays, it happens to me. Like, it's kind of silly, honestly, the rates in which, like, I see something that I like and then I go crazy over it. It's kind of silly, honestly, but whatever. The point is that I love things, and when I get obsessed with something, I get obsessed with it. The same thing happened with Mario Galaxy. I get obsessed in interesting ways. I like to make random lists of things a lot. I like to do... I like to obsess over music or looking up just random facts about stuff. So that's fun. I remember I used to make lists of, like, the enemies of Mario Galaxy, or, like, just every single star I possibly could, sometimes. So that's kind of silly. I do a lot of weird, random things. But something else that I used to do because of Mario Galaxy was, like, think of, like, what would I do with a Mario? Because, I mean, as a kid, I used to wanted to be, like, a game designer thing. And, of course, that dream is... That dream is dead in the water, but for good reason. I'm not too upset over it. But, what am I trying to say? It's kind of hard to, like, play the game and try and, like, make sure that I'm not playing, like, complete and utter trash, while also, like, trying to talk about a topic that, for most part, is unrelated to what's going on. I mean, I'm relying on you guys using visual aids to understand what's going on, rather than me blabbering on about, hey, can you understand basic concepts of what's happening in gaming? So yeah, that was really weird. It kind of just launched me into the Piranha Plant. Anyways, I should start right around that platform. Yeah, there we go. So, as I was saying, one of the things that I used to do was make lists, think about what I might do if I were making games, stuff like that, really. So, one of the things that I was obsessed with once upon a time was the friendly creatures of Mario Galaxy. Most notably, the penguins and the bees. Two random species that you find in this game that just kind of exist and are there. And so it's kind of cool that they exist and are there, I guess. But I always used to like them. Especially because I used to love penguins in general. Penguins were awesome. Like, they used to be one of my animalistic obsessions. I read lots of stuff about penguins. I watched penguin movies. I watched penguin cartoons. Like, I had penguin plushies. I don't know. I like penguins, basically. I still do. Just not, certainly to the same extent as I used to. But one thing that I had as an idea, something I loved as a kid, was the idea of transformation. I still do love the idea of transformation, really. I love the idea. I think I originally got this idea from a silly webcomic where Mario transformed into a Yoshi, just as a joke gag thing. But I had this idea of Mario transforming into different creatures that you would basically then be able to swap between at any point and use them to solve puzzles. So, like, it's kind of basically just regular Mario power-ups, except you're transforming into the actual creature rather than just putting on a suit like them. So there was like a Penguin Mario. This was before New Super Mario Bros. Wii, so there was no penguin suit yet. But there was like a Penguin Mario who was like a Mario, except he was one of the penguins from this game, and he was good at swimming. And there was like a Bee Mario who was one of the bees from this game, and he could do other things. It's stuff like that, basically. And I really like that idea. And now it's in Mario Odyssey in a new, unexpected twist. It's just there, and it's like, holy crap, I predicted the future at the age of 2007 and have no... The year of 2007, age of like 8. Actually not 8, 11. I can't math. I just find that really silly, though, that it's like... one of my childhood ideas of these things is now an actual part of Mario canon, and that's hilariously wonderful to me, and I really enjoy that that's a thing. Like, I mean, yeah, I can't prove it, but I mean, I don't really care about proving it. It's just, it makes me happy, and that's all that matters. So, that's really my entire story, really, was just like, hey, I had this idea, now it's in Mario Odyssey. But, like, I don't know, it's really fascinating to me, and I enjoy that it's a thing. Like, I love the idea of transforming into different creatures like that, and I mean, it's less transforming and more just using their bodies, but it's still basically the same concept. Am I missing one? Yes, I am. Ow. Rude. I only remember there being 2. That's why I was like, am I missing one? Not a big deal. I haven't mentioned the music yet, but the music's quite good, isn't it? I mean, everyone knows this song by now. I don't think I really need to be like, hey, look at this, listen to this amazing song, it's so good. I mean, I'm talking over it. Like, if you want to listen to Gusty Garden's song, even if you haven't somehow at this point in your life, you're going to look it up on a separate video and not rely on me. Like, that's one thing that some people tend to do sometimes. I mean, okay, yes, I've done it too, but like, where it's like, hey, listen to this song, isn't it an amazing song? And then they just stop talking so that you can listen to it. And I mean, like, for some games that are obscure, it might be perfectly fine, but like, other times it's like, for something like this, it's like, yes, everyone knows about this song already, people. Like, you don't really need to be like, hey, listen to this song on my video instead of one of the videos specifically dedicated to this song. It's just kind of silly. I mean, if you... I'm not gonna name names, but there is a certain popular person who used to do that frequently. I don't watch them anymore, I don't know if they still do that, but whatever. The point is that I think it's a little silly, but everyone can be a little hypocritical at times, so I have probably done it before. I can't think of when I might have, but what the heck ever. If I've done it before, then it was for a good cause, because obviously it's okay if I can do it. No one else is allowed. Lol. That was wrong. You know, actually, I don't think you even... Whatever. Maybe that's a Luigi only thing, actually. By the way, you can still break those. I didn't actually succeed at doing that before, but now I can. Lol. Controls in this game can be a bit iffy, I've realized. Compared to more recent Mario games, there's definitely a strong sense of, like, of less polish. I don't know, it's kind of silly, really. It's actually interesting to me. I really kind of... I want to amend something that I talked about before in this Let's Play. As I fight Major Burrows here, who is a very rude mole who wants to eat bunnies. Mario Galaxy's not perfect. It's not close to perfect. It just isn't. It's got flaws. It's got issues. And the idea that it's somehow like one of the most perfect games ever. Like... Was I watching this game? No, not really, I wasn't. Because... It just isn't. It's a fun game, yes, it's not bad. But... Holy jeez, the idea that it's somehow perfect. It's somehow the least flawed game ever. Like, no, it's not. I'm thinking about it, it's got plenty of flaws. Both this one and the next one. Like, just because it got a nice tone and it used to be good to play before, doesn't necessarily mean that it's aged the best. Doesn't mean it has the best visuals, doesn't mean it has the best controls. I've noticed plenty of control issues. I mean, the Wiimote waggling is imprecise. I keep messing it up because this is a Wii remote. It's not... motion controls are always going to be imprecise to a certain point. At least older motion controls. Probably eventually we'll get to the point where motion controls can be just as reliable as button controls, but we're not at that point yet. I don't think anybody would ever say we're at that point yet. Motion controls may provide different options that buttons couldn't necessarily provide, but it doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to be as reliable as simply pushing something down, like a button would. But that's beside the point. There's also a lot of padding in this game. Like, I forgot just how much blatant padding is in this game for no real reason other than to just exist as padding. Like, the prankster comments are repetitious and boring, and like, there's a lot of moments where it's just, you kind of are doing the same thing over and over again. Heck, there's just... And even some of the level design just is kind of awkward. Like, there's a lot of good level design here, but like, there's also a lot of level design that's like, did they really know what they were going for yet with this? Because there are sometimes strange things of like, it's not quite, I don't know, it's not quite right. Like, there are some instances where it's like, what am I trying to say? There are weird instances where it's trying to both be a linear game and an exploratory game. It's like a weird mishmash of concepts from games like Sunshine, and of like the secret levels of Sunshine, and then the exploratory levels of Sunshine. It's like, it doesn't necessarily quite work the way I feel like they wanted it to. And that's quite a shame, really. And they did definitely get better at the more linear concepts, but I feel like Galaxy 1, especially, was not really positive of what it was going for. So it just kind of feels a little... I don't know. The point of the matter is, it's not a perfect game, and the fact that I said it was perfect, or near perfect, or... I didn't actually say it was perfect, but I said it was, like, one of the most perfect, I guess. Which is implying that it's the least flawed, but that's just flat out not true. Hell, even the fact that there's so much downtime in between these stars could be seen as an imperfect flaw, because, like... I mean, and the game's also so hand-holdy at times, it's like... Those aren't necessarily... I don't know... Because, I mean, you gotta appeal to a broader demographic, but at the same time, you don't want to patronize the people who are playing. You don't want to put them down, and in some instances, being... some of the things that happen in certain games like this, where it's like, hey, do this because you can't figure that out on your own, or we're gonna repeat the same line of dialogue every single time this happens because you can't figure it out on... Like, hey, we've discovered an enemy base! Hey, we discovered an enemy base! Hey, we discovered an enemy base! Like, it gets old to people, it gets repetitive. And in some instances, with how long the individual moments between levels can get, it's like, sometimes you just kind of want to keep moving. You don't want to necessarily spend a lot of time doing not really anything, and you just want to play the next level, but it's like, it's a minute in between each level, and so it's like, it's not necessarily horrible. I mean, like, downtime is definitely important for games. Like, if you... That's one of the issues with something like Freedom Planet, which I mentioned in that Let's Play, where it was like, I feel like they could have kept the exact same level lengths that they had, but if they had instead organized it a little bit more like Sonic Acts, where you had different acts per zone, it would have felt better because of... It would have made it feel like you were actually accomplishing something rather than just being like, hey, hey, you're still in the same level. And so, I feel like that level design would have been... I feel like having a little bit of downtime where it was like, hey, you're in the next act of this area now, like, would have made the levels feel a little bit more interesting and flow a little nicer, I would have said. I would say that, yes. So downtime is definitely important. More important than some people may realize. However, too much downtime can be a negative thing because then it kind of makes you feel like the game is slow. And that's one of the biggest complaints I've ever heard about Mario Galaxy. Because there are people who aren't necessarily the fondest of the game. They might not think it's awful, but like they are going to prefer other Mario games mainly, maybe because they would feel like they flow a little nicer because there's a sense that there's not so much random slow downtime and they can just keep playing. That's something with Mario 64, like you die and then you just get kicked back out of the level, but then it's like, then suddenly you're, like things go by quicker in Mario 64 and Mario Sunshine. Whereas Mario Galaxy is very slow if you do anything. If you get a star, it's a decently long cutscene of going back to the observatory and then going back in. If you die, it's a decently long... Well, not actually that long, but like... The point is that... I do think Mario Galaxy is on the slower end of Mario games. And while it doesn't necessarily mean it's bad at all, it does mean that it can feel a little like you're not really getting as much done as you could necessarily be getting done. I don't know. I need to end the episode now, so I don't know if that's really a very conclusive way to end that conversation topic. But the point of the matter is, next time on Let's Play Mario Galaxy, we're gonna go explore the Freeze Flame Galaxy. Okay? See you guys then.